Did you know that there are nearly 900,000 Puerto Ricans living in Florida? According to the U.S. Census, 1 in 14 voters are Puerto Rican. This population will play a major role in determining the outcome of our next presidential election. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Own the Vote. I'm Robert Trenum, and I'm joined by Rafael Fantauzzi, President and CEO of the National Puerto Rican Coalition. Rafael, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Robert.
That's a pretty astonishing number. I didn't realize that nearly 1 million Puerto Ricans are in Florida alone.
Absolutely. There's been a large migration in the last 10 years of Puerto Ricans from the island into the mainland, and they're mostly concentrated in what we call the I-4 corridor, Tampa, Orlando area.
Which reminds me of the age-old adage that a lot of political professionals are saying, Florida, Florida, Florida is going to be the most important state probably in the 2012 presidential election. Would you agree with that?
I would certainly agree with that. I would certainly.
We should mention that your organization is a nonpartisan organization, but
Correct.
we are on the eve of arguably the most important presidential election in our lifetime. I know every 4 years we say that, but it is really important. Talk to us about what the mission is of the National Puerto Rican Coalition.
Well, our mission is to enhance the social and economic well-being of all Puerto Ricans on the mainland and the island, and of course, you know, our allies, with a special emphasis on the most vulnerable.
And Rafael, speaking of the most vulnerable and a special emphasis on Puerto Ricans and your allies, what are the two issues you would make the argument are the top two issues for your community in this presidential election?
You know, we're no different than any other community. Our top two issues are the economy and jobs, and education, of course. I mean, those are the issues that are relevant to every American. And, you know, we are Americans, so we're in the same boat as everybody else.
And do you think that Governor Romney, let's start with him, as the Republican that's running for president, do you believe that he has a articulate, visionary plan for the Puerto Rican community? I'm
not necessarily sure. I know that during the primaries, Republican primaries in Puerto Rico, he did express certain things that that would be definitely relevant to the Puerto Ricans on the island and the Puerto Ricans on the mainland. We're a little bit concerned about the bilingual issues, where he stands on that, because at the end of the day, our first language is Spanish. But of course, we know English too, and we don't have any problem learning English. English is the language of business, you know, but we're not necessarily clear if they're really talking to us as a specific group.
And switching to the other party, Barack Obama, who's running for re-election as a Democrat, obviously, is he speaking specifically to the Puerto Rican community? Well,
I mean, I think he does. I think he has in the past. I mean, by first of all nominating Associate Justice Sonia Sotomayor, that certainly looks that he is supportive of not only the Hispanic community, but a very, very, very well recognized Puerto Rican.
Do you think, I mean, obviously Puerto Rican's a bit different when it comes to the amnesty program, the self-deportation argument during the Republican primary. Do you think Mitt Romney hurt himself when he said that illegals in this country should self-deport?
You know, it's very interesting because I have, you know, I work as part of a coalition of different organizations, and some of the organizations do claim that, yeah, he hurt himself. Others say, well, you know, hold on a second. Of course, you know, as a nonpartisan organization, we have friends on both sides of the aisles, and we have Hispanics on both sides of the aisle. He might not have helped himself because that's a very polarizing issue from within our entire community. And when we'll see how that affects him on the election.
Rafael, you mentioned jobs and the economy are the two top issues, of course, for all Americans, regardless of what your ethnicity may or may not be. I want to talk for a few moments about immigration and also the Ryan budget plan, because those are the two national topics, if you will, that keep coming up in the national dialogue. Let's start with immigration. Is that a main issue for the Puerto Rican community?
You know, it is an issue that affects us, absolutely. You know, first of all, it's an issue that affects every American. But at the end of the day, you know, John Q. Public in Oklahoma might not necessarily know the difference between a Mexican, a Puerto Rican, a Dominican, or Salvadorian. And I could be walking the streets and talking in Spanish on my phone, and if a police stops me, and because I don't walk or jog with my passport, he might, you know, arrest me, thinking that I am an illegal. So because we do not know, and we're not really highly educated in this country about the differences in cultures from within the Hispanic community, it is an issue. Second, Puerto Rico is next to the Dominican Republic, and there's a large undocumented migration of Dominicans into Puerto Rico, and that is an issue that is affecting us significantly.
And because Governor Romney recently made the announcement that Paul Ryan is his running mate on the vice presidential ticket, the Ryan budget plan has become a talking point. Again, knowing that you're nonpartisan, but look, the Ryan budget plan is a piece of policy. How does this affect the Puerto Rican community?
Listen, we give an opportunity to anybody that's really wanting to move forward any plan that's going to help America. especially for our group, the Puerto Ricans. I was a little concerned about the Ryan budget plan because originally he was not aware that...
He meaning Congressman Ryan.
Congressman Ryan, correct, was not aware that during the health care reform, Puerto Rico received a significant amount of money increase in order to bring us closer to parity to the other states. And they were going to eliminate almost $6 billion. And I'm sure Governor Fortuño, who is a Republican, the current governor of Puerto Rico, immediately had to call him and say, listen, you're gonna bring me a lot of problems if you eliminate these funds for the island.
Rafael, we hear these names, Marco Rubio, Susana Martinez. We have some other individuals that are members of Congress and so forth that are of Latino descent. Do you think in our lifetime, the next 15 or 20 years, that there would be a Latino American at the top of the ticket?
Absolutely.
Presidential ticket?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a land of opportunity. Why not?
And there you have it. Thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert.
And of course, thank you for joining us for this edition of Own the Vote. I'm Robert Tranum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.